everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Catholics Against Militarism podcast. My name is Ellen, and my most recent episode of the CAM podcast features my third ever interview with the one and only Dr. E. Michael Jones. I know he's really popular with my YouTube audience, and so I can't believe it's been 3 years since I've interviewed him, but I had him back on the show. We had a great conversation. I have decided not to run it on YouTube, however, so I'm really sorry you won't have video for this one, but I assure you he was looking dapper as ever. But I just think, given some of the topics that we talked about, I don't think YouTube would like what we said. So I'm going to just point you down to the link below if you'd like to listen to the interview. So I'm sorry there won't be video this time around, but it's a great conversation. We decided that we were going to, I wanted to dissect an article from the New Yorker called "The Sins of the High Court's Supreme Catholics." All about the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I wanted to get his take on that. Even though this is a War and Peace podcast, I think abortion falls into it. I mean, it's the ultimate might makes right kind of action, right? In my opinion. So anyway, this article was written by James Carroll in August of 2022. And honestly, we were going to try to deconstruct it. We tried a little bit. It's a very convoluted article. And so it was hard to do. Our conversation ended up being a little bit rambling, but we did cover some really interesting topics. We talked about his new book, so you can hear about his new book. He also talked about an exchange, a personal exchange that he had, a public exchange he had with Ben Shapiro recently, who was in South Bend giving a talk, and Dr. Jones asked a question and kind of challenged him at the end of the talk, so you can hear about their exchange. We talked about evolution and abortion. The writer of this article on the Supreme Court decision makes the argument that there's some kind of relationship between Darwinism and the ensoulment of a human being. We couldn't quite figure that out, but it's an interesting kind of conversation to listen to. We talked about some pre-Socratic thinkers, and perhaps most interesting is that I actually kind of on a whim and as a joke, I asked him to come teach for me in my new school that I'm setting up that's not really a school. I announced it recently on the podcast. I said, you should come teach for me. And he actually said, if you can get 20 students together who would buy my book, Logos Rising, I will teach a class. And so, hey, it's on recording. I mean, I can hold his feet to that fire, right? So if there's people in the audience, if you are a big fan of Dr. Jones and you want to read his book and you'd like to take a class with him on the book, if I can get 20 students, he said he would do it. So we don't have the details of that worked out, but if you are interested, send me an email at contact at catholicsagainstmilitarism.com. And I would probably be the first student to join his class. So now we only need 19. So if you're interested, send me an email, and then we'll see if there's any interest. And if there's enough, I can go to him and we'll try to set something up. So that could be kind of fun. So anyway, that's what you have to look forward to in the most recent episode. Check the link below. Sorry there's no video this time, but it's a great conversation, and I hope that you get something out of it. I will also include links below and links in the audio version backing up some of the claims that he made about certain groups who support abortion. When he made the claim in the podcast, I thought it was a little bit, I was like, there's no way this can be true. But it is true, and it's out there. It's factual, so it's not misinformation, and I want to include those links for you. All right, so thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the interview.